They made the world laugh. They made television history. But behind the laughter, their marriage was a battlefield. This is the untold, tragic story of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. To the world, they were perfect, the ultimate Hollywood couple. But behind closed doors, jealousy, heartbreak, betrayal. How did the couple who brought us I Love Lucy survive fame, fortune, and ultimately, each other? Before we dive in, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the hidden truths behind Hollywood's most fascinating couples. Lucille Ball grew up without a father. Raised mostly by her grandparents in upstate New York. Ambitious, talented, fiercely independent. She clawed her way through childhood and adolescence to reach Hollywood. Desi Arnaz, born into wealth in Cuba, fleeing to Miami after the Cuban Revolution. Two worlds collided when fate brought them together. Their first meeting wasn't magical. Ball later recalled seeing the young Cuban actor and thinking, "That Cuban." But something changed when they spoke. One co-star remembered, "Lucille followed my eyes, and I could almost hear the bells ringing in her head. The first words she uttered were, 'Oh my God.'" It was love at first sight for Lucille. And for 23-year-old Desi, a spark had been lit as well. Little did they know, their whirlwind romance would soon face challenges no one could predict. Only 6 months after meeting, they eloped. Lucille, on a promotional tour in Wisconsin, had even given an interview titled, "Why I Will Always Remain a Bachelor Girl." She traveled to New York, unaware that Desi had planned a secret elopement. Arriving in a simple black wool dress, she married Desi in Connecticut, wearing a cheap ring purchased last minute from Woolworth. A more expensive ring would come later, but the gesture cemented their bold, impulsive beginning. Ball later said, "Marrying Desi was one of the boldest things I ever did. Beneath that dazzling charm was a homeless boy who had no one to care for him, love him, worry about him." Love at first sight didn't protect them from real-world pressures. Lucille's rising acting career and Desi's in-demand band leading often kept them apart. Long separations fueled jealousy and insecurity. Ball feared Desi was seeing other women, while Desi's nightlife and infidelity only worsened matters. A friend recalled, "She was strong, independent, but with Desi, she became very old-fashioned." Despite it all, their bond remained resilient enough for marriage to continue. But fame, ambition, and temptation would soon test their love like never before. Desi's charm came with a dark side. Known as a womanizer, he often stayed out all night, fueled by alcohol. Some say he even hired multiple women while drunk. Lucille tolerated much of this, admitting, "I closed my eyes, put blinders on, and ignored what was too painful to think about." Once, she read a story in Confidential magazine and said casually, "Oh hell, I could tell them worse than that." Alcohol reportedly fueled Desi's escapades, yet on set, he remained professional. Writer Bob Weisskopf remembered, "We worked late. All Desi offered was a cocktail. No thought for anyone else." Even in chaos, he kept his commitment to the show. And just when you think their marriage couldn't get more complicated, secrets and betrayals were about to collide in ways no one could foresee. Lucille fought to keep Desi close. She demanded he star with her in I Love Lucy, knowing it would keep him home, away from temptations. Producers initially resisted, worried audiences wouldn't accept a Cuban husband. The couple toured vaudeville circuits to test their chemistry, eventually convincing CBS to greenlight the show. Yet their differences led to frequent arguments. Their daughter Lucy recalled, "They were fighting all the time, a lot of anger and screaming." To save money, Desi built a guest house in the backyard. Still, reconciliation was always possible. Once, Desi returned from his mother's home, stood crying in the yard, until Lucille comforted him. The couple faced further trials. Lucille endured multiple miscarriages before successfully giving birth to Lucy in 1951. The arrival of their first child and the subsequent birth of Desi Jr. coincided with record-breaking episodes of I Love Lucy. The show wrote Ball's pregnancy into the plot, a television first. Desi's behavior calmed during these periods. Lucille said, "The best year of my marriage was just before and after the birth of our first child. Desi hovered about me, attentive to every need." Even miracles, however, could not prevent the fractures already forming in their marriage. Together, they ran Desilu Productions, producing hits like Star Trek and Mission Impossible. But ambitions diverged. Arnaz preferred stability. Ball wanted to expand. Their differing visions strained their marriage. By 1956, observers noted their marriage was mostly routine, held together for the children and the business. The golden glow of fame could not hide the pain simmering beneath the surface. In 1960, after 20 turbulent years, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz divorced. Both remarried, yet neither truly let go of the other. Mutual friends reported enduring affection. Arnaz sent flowers every anniversary. Ball watched old home movies, asked about him frequently. When Arnaz was dying of lung cancer in 1986, Ball called, whispering, "I love you. I love you." 2 days later, Desi passed away. Lucille died 3 years later. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz were icons, pioneers, and a couple whose love story was as complicated as it was unforgettable. Behind the laughter were heartbreaks, betrayals, and enduring devotion. Their story reminds us that even the brightest stars cast long shadows. If you want more untold Hollywood stories, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because the truth behind the glamour is always darker than it seems.